He was here for me.
In what aspects?
When I
Just
went
a
to go
friend?
park my car. No. When I went to go park my car, they stopped their car in the middle of the road and said, "Wait, is that Luna?" And then I parked my car and I waited for a moment for them to like go away. But he was in that car. I don't think he realized you were in here too and was following me.
Alright. We'll call the police soon. We're in a locked room, so he can't get to you.
Yeah.
Firstly, I want to apologize for ignoring your call. It wasn't on purpose. I was truly stuck between a rock and a hard place and couldn't pick up.
That's okay.
Secondly, I want to find out what's been going on with you, Luna.
As far as
You and the judge. I know there's been a lot of drama and a lot of shade being thrown your way, and a lot of people just bitching to bitch, which is ultimately why 90% of it I don't even pick up as a judicial complaint because it's just people bitching to bitch. But I want to find out what's going on with you from your side.
what do you want to know?
How you feel? What's upsetting you? What do you think's working? What's not working? What's pissing you off in the DOJ?
I was talking with Tarts because I have no one to really talk to, and he was willing to listen. And while I was talking to him, I asked him what he knew about the trial with Larry when he quit.
Mm.
And he was there. In fact, I was sitting next to him for most of it. But he had been hearing from other people that basically I was the devil, right? I did a horrible thing, and then I asked him, I said, okay, well, what did you see then? Because I feel like I am being gaslit into thinking that what I did was the worst thing in the world. And he went through and he told me, I had also been told today by Dan that Larry was done his verdict before Dan went up there, which I didn't know or remember. But I stopped Tarts and I very specifically asked him, did I yell at him before he yelled at me? And he was like, no. He had his outburst on the stand, and then he quit, and then he left, and then you declared it a mistrial. And honestly, Talon, I feel like everyone else has made me out to be the most terrible person in the world because they're not saying the truth. They are spreading false information. That information is getting around. Nobody will even talk to me anymore, Talon. I don't hang out at the courthouse. No one says hello. No one greets me with a smile. No clown hugs. Nothing. I get absolutely stone silence. They stop talking if I'm nearby them. All because of misinformation from a thing that happened that wasn't a big deal. It was made into a big deal by someone who had all the agency in the world to ignore text messages the verdict was done. He didn't even have to say anything at all. But he chose to do that, and he chose to have that outburst. And somehow the story has been twisted. And now I'm fighting that alone. I have to fight against that now. I have to fight against all of the people who are probably out there regurgitating the same stupid lies. I have to fight against, no offense to you, sir, but all the clowns who I'm sure are taking up for Larry. They're the first ones to go silent when I walk by. I have been othered in the span of days. And to reverse all of this, it is not possible. And this DOJ, as you know, when we started here anew, was great. All of our attitudes were wonderful. We all exchanged information and constructive feedback, and we helped each other. This was the place to be. Remember, people would hang out here with us. It was a place to be. And now it's just a toxic cesspool of people trying to burn me at the stake for information about something I didn't even do. And that sucks. Because I work really hard. And you remember, you chose me to be the Deputy Chief Justice because you said, I am good with people, Morgan, but you are better with the law. You're better than most people here with the law. And I want you to balance out me. That's what you said to me. And now I don't know.
All right. My opinions haven't changed. I've looked over the whole Larry thing. I've spoken to Larry. I don't know what has been said outside of the discussions I've had. I can't stop people from speaking, but ultimately, me and Coyote, so me at the time, as acting Chief Justice and the Deputy Chief Justice, saw that as nothing more than a whole thing blown up for what it truly was, and ultimately came to the decision that we would only give you a warning because we didn't see it as more as that. Alright? That's it. And the warning is just that. Just essentially don't, do it again. But I get what you're saying as well. Maybe I've also been lackluster and showing affection. But I've also personally been in turmoil where I didn't even know if I actually was Chief Justice. Even now, it's a bit iffy. But I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go with it. And whatever happens, happens. Ultimately, I want to give you assurance that I'm not going to foster this little gossip circle that this has become. I'm tired of it. I really am. People have been all willy-nilly on what they think and what they feel without the facts. And it's ultimately led to people targeting you as their point of frustration. When that's not been validated. It's not valid at all. Right? And like you said, he could have ignored it. Ultimately, what the mistake there was Dan jumping over and trying to sway a sitting judge to stop what he was doing. That was the big mistake in that. And he owned up to it.
And correct. But I bet you how that is being framed is that I made him go up there and do that. I bet you my whole fucking bank
you
account.
don't have to bet me because that is exactly what they were trying to do with me. And I shot it down, Morgan. Because I didn't believe for a second you forced Dan to go up there. Not for a fucking second. I'm not going to allow this to continue in any capacity. I want to be the firm hand that guides, but also the the person that actually listens, which I've felt that there's been a gap in that. Ever since Hank's gone to the ICU, I know Hank has been a big part of. He was the guy people went to when they needed someone to listen.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna have to be that, but also the firm hand as well. I just had to fucking tell Tom he can't be head of bar. By tomorrow, I'm probably gonna fire half the clowns in the DOJ. That is just the reality of it. That's the firm hand. I'll listen to people, but I can't let my feelings or their feelings guide the DOJ anymore. We don't operate on feelings. We operate on the law. Simple as that. All the shits that has happened, with Mercy, with Hank, with fucking Peanut, with I don't even know how far the spirals anymore. It just keeps going and going and going. I can't let that be a thing anymore. Very soon, I'm calling on all hands to get us all on the same page, where I want everyone there to speak their fucking mind. And by the time we leave that meeting, that room, I want a clean slate. Now I know it's not going to be that easy. People are going to still have their opinions, but what I'm going to say in that same meeting is that if I find anyone spreading malicious rumors or trying to go behind people's back, that I will personally kick them out. I will disbar them and I'll remove them from this department. I don't give a shit. I'll gladly go back to having 2 or 3 active judges and less of this petty drama bullshit that I've had to deal with over this last week. And then build it up slowly and bring judges in one by one that I know will operate on law and not how they feel in a sense. I told you I'm usually the people's guy. I have to stop being that person. I really do. Because right now I just need to fix whatever the fuck this is.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're taking some steps in the right direction. And I've been a judge for a very long time, and this isn't my first rodeo. But I will say, when it comes to DOJs, they are incredibly fragile. They are so delicate and so easy to break. And
Yes.
once it's broken, it is so hard to tape all those pieces back together. It's almost impossible. And we're breaking right now. We're breaking. And if I have to be the person who is the one that's like, we're breaking and this needs to stop, then what it is, but it needs
Yeah.
to stop.
Morgan, I would love for you to sit as a judge in the state. I don't want you to go on alleyway or feel that you're not welcome. As the sitting Chief Justice, I want you in this department. I don't give a fuck what people say. And if you find anyone spreading bad shit about you, you bring that straight to me. And I'll sort it out. At this point, I don't give a fuck. I'm here as the Chief Justice asking you and telling you, I want you in this department. I don't want you to go. Because that is where this LOA is leading to. You ultimately were going to make a decision, and you were confused and upset. And I've seen people go down that road. And if not handled the right way, it leads to people leaving. I don't want you to leave. If you do step back in as a judge, if you see a judge fucking up on that stand, you'd report it to me. I'll deal with it. Not in 2 weeks, not in a week. Within 48 hours, it's dealt with. Done. I don't have time for this. Oh, I'm gonna take a week to look into whatever this is, and then while it festers for a week, because this is the issue that people also don't address, is because things were festering for 2 weeks or a week. Rumors spread. People have their opinions. They make the public perception what they want it to be, and that's a problem. No one dealt with things on the spot, and I'm giving you my guarantee. I'm dealing with shit on the spot. I'm done with this little game of let's do what we can to break a person down or make their reputation as bad as humanly possible, so that by the time a decision is made, they have no choice but to decide based on what we have made them perceive it to be.
Yeah.
If you still wish to go on LOA, I won't hold that against you. But I'm here, for all intents and purposes, begging you, stay on as a judge, and I guarantee you that at the very least, as a judge, I will always have your back. If you fuck up, I'll tell you. I'll speak with you like a person, and we'll address it like people do, like it's supposed to be done. And if you experience any issues, you bring them to me, and we'll deal with it. And outside of the whole Department of Justice thing, I've always tried to, and I don't know if I've failed at some point, but I've always tried to be a good person, especially to you. I saw you as a friend before this. I don't know where you stand with it, but I still think I do.
Honestly, I'm wounded right now and having a hard time trusting anyone. I would very much still like to think that we're friends. And I hope that that didn't change.
It hasn't changed. No matter what you decide, whether you extend your LOA or whether you don't take the bench or whether you take the bench, that doesn't change.
Okay. You know, people don't realize that judges can't really make a lot of friends.
No, we can't.
So I hold my friends very valuable. Anyway, you don't have to beg me to stay. I won't have you do that. I will stay. But if if people are continuing to mistreat me or other me and not include me, then I might have to revisit.
I can't guarantee how people are going to treat you, but if they actively treat you bad, you let me know. I'm not going to allow that to fester. I
One
can't.
moment.
I can't guarantee anything from the clowns. Uh, Obviously they have their own discussions and circles. I'll speak to Sparkles. I'll speak to Tom Tom. It's probably maybe Band-Aid, but uh, one.
Can I ask you?
Give me
Okay.
5 minutes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When I tried to call Larry after what happened, and just to tell him that I was incorrect in calling it double jeopardy, it was not double jeopardy. But I was correct in saying it would have had to have been a mistrial. He said, like, this isn't the first time that you've done this to me. And I'm curious because I know what he's referring to because I think he even said as much on stand that this isn't the first time you've done this to me. I'm assuming that he means when you appointed me deputy chief justice and you and I had a hour-long conversation as to how to handle what was going on and what was on the docket, and you and I made the decision that what he had done was unconstitutional, and that you and I made the decision that I would go onto the docket and say as much, knowing that once it was said, you and I would no longer have our positions. Have you told anyone that you were involved in those decisions too?
I just said it to the game warden's face, to the chief of police, to the mayor, and to the assistant chief of police. Not an hour ago. I've never hidden the fact that I was involved.
In the decision
Yes. I've never.
that Larry
Uh,
was being unconstitutional.
yes. I've never hidden that I was involved. I've never hidden that I appointed you as Deputy Chief Justice at the time.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
About the constitutionality of it. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, that we had a very long conversation as to whether what he did was constitutional or not. And
Yeah, but
that we
no.
came to a decision
Okay.
together.
I understand what you're saying. No one even fucking asked me. They've never asked me about that. The problem is they were so fixated on the fact that your name was in there that they just overlooked the whole thing. They never asked me about a discussion. And I'll take my responsibility. I should have brought it up. I should have brought it up, but I didn't know people were spiraling that bad about this specific thing. The only thing I've been made aware of that people have actively been spiraling about is that case that Larry sat on.
Well, I don't know if everyone is spiraling about that, but I know Larry is.
Yeah, well, he's no longer
So I
part
was
of
just
this.
wondering.
Yeah, he's no longer part of this department, so I don't think we need to care about that.
Okay, fair.
Ultimately, he left the department. I'll take responsibility on the fact that I at no point went out of my way to tell people this. That's my fault. I'm not gonna lie. That's my fault. But I never understood the conversation. No one even brought it up. People were simply, and they never came to me about it.
I
Holy
don't
shit!
think they, for a second, thought that you and I ever conversed with each other. I honest to God, think that they thought I jumped on that docket and made that decision to strip you of your power. And they have no idea that we stood back here in the other room and talked about it at length and understood that by doing so, both of us
Yeah,
would be stripped of our power.
the first person that brought this up in detail to me was now in that room with the game warden. With the game warden and the chief of police. They brought up that whole thing. Who appointed her? I said, I did. And they said, why? I said, because ultimately I trusted her. And then we made that decision knowing it would strip us both of power. It wasn't a grab. It was a decision made so that you could jump in and overrule a judge with your position so that it could just strike us down from power because we saw the unconstitutionality of it. That's what I just said to, when was it? An hour ago, 2 hours ago, with the game warden, chief of police, deputy chief of police, the mayor. I think at one point the assistant game warden was in there as well.
Okay,
So
well,
when someone brought it to me, I did bring it up, yes. But no one spoke to me. And I think ultimately because they didn't know I was with you when you made this decision. And that might be my fault.
so when we do our all hands on deck meeting, I would like all of this to be addressed and corrected.
I will do so.
Okay, thank you.
I give you my word. One of the things I will pertinently bring up was that it wasn't your sole decision. It was my decision to bring you in as a deputy chief, to injunct that, because we both agreed that it was unconstitutional at the time. And that it stripped us, of both of us, of our power. I will do that.
Okay.
It will clear the misconception and the fact the narrative being spread that, well, Luna did that because Luna just wanted to overstep.